Hello, everybody, and welcome to EduMatch. Follow along with us at bit.ly/tweet talk 73, as well as on Twitter with the hashtag EduMatch. Speaking of EduMatch, did you know that you could be the featured person of the day? If you sign up at edumatch.org, then, yep, Rochelle is a featured person of the day today. So shout out to Rochelle. So you can be featured just like Rochelle. So just sign up at our website, and what that will do is connect you to educators all over the world along similar areas of interest. And if you have a blog that's easily retweetable, then we will retweet it for you, and we will add you to our Voxer group and a whole bunch of other really, really cool things. So definitely looking forward to connecting with you guys on there. Just FYI, there's a short wait, but good things come to those who wait. So today we are going to be talking about 360 in learning spaces. So super excited. As y'all can see, we have a full house. So we have our moderator, Jamie Donnelly, and we also have quite a host of people. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to y'all to let y'all introduce yourselves and to take it away.
My name is Dan Kreines. I'm an instructional coach at a middle school in Derby, Connecticut.
And my name is David Butler, Customer Success Manager for Nearpod.
And I am Mason. I'm a digital instructional coach at a 9 through 12 high school that's one-to-one with iPads in Garland, Texas.
And Rochelle Post from Pittsburgh. I teach Spanish and STEAM grades 7 through 12.
I'm Jamie Donnelly. I am marketing with Atomic Learning and EdTech presenter.
Awesome, awesome. So super excited for this panel. So cannot wait to hear all of the great things that y'all have to say and sharing your experiences with 360.
Awesome. Yes. So just getting started, 360 is such a crazy topic because I think we attach that to VR a lot because virtual reality is in all around you, right? That 360 experience. So it's really neat to kind of talk about both video and images. And I think the group of people here are pretty excited and passionate about using that within education. So maybe if anybody wants to chime in about what you think is the reason why this is becoming so popular.
I'll start. I just left the classroom. Before I became a digital instructional coach, I was an English teacher. And one of the stories we read was during our nature unit. We read Thoreau, and we read his essay where he was describing Walden Pond. And it's one thing to read the essay and to read the words on the page, but it's another thing completely to be able to immerse the students into a VR world where they actually were able to see Walden Pond in a 360-degree view. So that was really cool. They actually got to see what he was describing, and they were able to understand why, for him, it was really important to have the simplicity in life.
And I think that to kind of piggyback off of what Mason said, it's equally important that students not only get to be able to experience in the classroom things that would normally be taking place outside the classroom, but I know it's probably the same thing with a lot of schools as it is for me in my school. Sometimes students never, or at least at this stage of their lives, haven't really traveled very far away from home yet. And so to give them experiences in the classroom about people and places and things that are way beyond their own experiences and sort of what they know in their little bubble of a world, it's really exciting for them. And it's just one more really exciting way to engage students. Technology now that is sort of up and coming.
Yeah. Anybody else want to chime in on that? Why is it becoming so popular?
I think I couldn't really add much to what either of you just said other than big engagement is that the students who, like Dan said, may not have that opportunity. It gives everybody that equal opportunity where they can experience it and be immersed in it. And you have some students who maybe, not that they're necessarily bored in your class, but you need something a little bit extra. When you give them that opportunity to go in and like be involved in that environment and see all the different aspects of it, I think the possibilities for adding to the learning are just huge because there's so many things that you can do, even if it's just one image, depending on whatever you teach, you can every student like more meaning to it, it's more authentic, and when you notice the students aren't looking at the clock as much, like it's working, so that's a bonus too.
I think it's actually a good time to have a conversation about 360s because right now being at the Pioneer Summit with Nearpod and having an opportunity to connect with educators and instructional technology and consultants and everybody that's out using this product, it's kind of nice to have the opportunity to be able to talk about how Nearpod is offering that opportunity. I know for me personally, whenever I share VR, that's the first thing that I show everybody because everybody could be on. It's always consistent. It applies to the masses. Can't always do that with all these tools. So it's really nice to use something like that to get everybody on board at the same time. So what can you guys share as far as like how Nearpod has given you the opportunity to easily use 360s with what you're doing in education?
One of the things that I like is Nearpod is device agnostic. So I was at a school where we had Chromebooks, and then now I'm at a school where we have iPads. And so it doesn't matter which device you have. If you're BYOD or one-to-one, you can use Nearpod and that device to bring VR into the classroom.
For me, Jamie knows this, and you know, one of my passions and projects right now is to bring more VR into my school, and ideally through using headsets. But with Nearpod and other tools like it, you don't necessarily need headsets, and that's what I like. You could have any internet connected device, essentially phone or an iPad. It might not be quite the same experience, but the students could hold it up and look around and get a similar feel for if they were actually in the place that the 360 is happening in.
And what I enjoy about the Nearpod offering is the scope of the different experiences that teachers can add into their lessons. When we partnered with Cities 360, we've got a library of over 2,000 360s ready to go. And you know, when I was in the classroom, I would have loved to have used that because it would have been great to show that this is what Egypt looks like and this is what China looks like. The fact of the matter is, with some of those 360s, some of our kids have been there. Nobody's going to Mars, but Mars is there. Nobody's going to the moon, but the moon is there. And it's not an illustration, it's not a mock-up, it's real photographs. And that, I think, was mind-blowing when I first used it.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to add anything to that on how you're using Nearpod?
Yeah, well, at the end of last school year, I teach a Spanish reader about South America, and the students have read it every year, and I can show videos and talk about it. And I noticed that this past year, using Nearpod, I brought in a lot more students and their engagement, and they were fascinated by being able to walk around these places they were reading about. It's one thing to show videos, but it's a totally different thing whenever you can immerse them in the environment. And the nice thing also is that I had students who were we were talking about this morning here at the summit, is that they really didn't want to use any type of technology. And some of those students who were so apprehensive and hesitant and outright like, I don't want to use technology, used Nearpod, created lessons, led them in the classroom, and you know, totally changed their perspective and really broke them in. So I just think the potential that it offers for any content, for any level, whether you're in education or not, I mean, you can use it anywhere. And just, you know, like the chance to explore and things that you can do with it are just awesome.
I think the coolest part about all of this is to be able to see our kids have personalized learning experiences. It's not about what I want you to see on this piece of paper, your stuff, or this video that I'm showing. This is all the view you have. I like that every kid could be in the same 360 and they can all be experiencing it in a totally different way. What's interesting to them is what they're looking at. What's going to help them in their learning growth, that's what they're looking at. And so what would you guys say as far as tools go, or even classroom engagement, or what you've seen impact our students in the way that we're offering a personalized learning experience using virtual reality 360s?
Engagement is a huge piece. My principal, she went to another campus and she was they were doing walkthroughs, and she was in a class where they were using VR and looking at some 360 cities. And she was amazed that every single, and this was a high school, every single student was engaged in the lesson and in the learning. And she actually sent me a text message. She didn't wait to come back to campus. She said, the students on this campus are doing this. How can the students on our campus do this? I want them to be engaged just like this. And so she was really excited about that engagement piece.
Yeah, and I think it works across levels because I've seen it used with elementary school students very well, and I've seen it used with teachers very well. You know, obviously, you know, students, they want to jump in and they enjoy that, and that's one thing, but it's just as difficult to pull teachers out of it during a PD as it is sometimes for the students. Okay, we have to move on, and teachers don't want to do that because they're so busy engaging and having fun with it.
Yeah, our teachers seem to sometimes be the most resistant, and even more so than our students, especially with technology. And it's really nice to hear that even our teachers are super enthusiastic. Yesterday, we had a conversation with Nearpod, like, what is the problems we run into in sharing technology? And it's funny because when I'm sharing these tools, I don't have a problem with them being engaged or wanting to try it. I have a problem with offering them products that are free. And so kind of going into that next step of cost, often they want to know, we have to all have devices, we have to all have this, we have to have these viewers, that's the only way to do this, and we have to purchase these crazy packages for $10,000, and you guys know which one I'm talking about too. And so, you're like, this is insane to think this is the way we get this in there, which is not true. So share with like some tools and some resources that we can bring to the classroom that would be free or low cost, an effective way and easily used in the classroom. Well, I know we can start with Dave.
The platform is not as expensive as some other optional tools are, and what's great about it is that it is device agnostic. A lot of people either have the technology and it's just sitting in the classroom collecting dust because the teachers feel overwhelmed sometimes, like I don't know what to do with these things, or, and my wife is a great example of this, her school just doesn't have enough technology for everybody, but she's at a high school, they all have phones. So your students have brought the technology in. They're gonna be using them. You can either yell at them for being on Snapchat and Facebook, or you can have them take that and use it towards education using a platform such as Nearpod. And I think that's one of the best things about it, not just from a technological standpoint, but literally from a cost saving standpoint.
Some of the things that I've seen is even in a device-less classroom, you have some educators who are using maybe Nearpod, but just from their end, or maybe something like YouTube, where they have the 360 views in some of the YouTube videos, and they'll use their interactive whiteboard, and they'll just bring the whole class and immerse them in that experience through their interactive whiteboard, and so they still be able to get this immersive experience. It's not on an individual device. Another option is, we do have lots of students who bring their own cell phones. I think it's at 90% of high school students, and there's some dollar stores and some cheap Amazon cardboards that you can purchase, and you can get those in the hands of students with the powerful devices that they already have in their hands to bring VR to them at a low cost.
Didn't hear from you last time.
I mean, everything, I of course agree with everything they've said, and I have a lot of students who, they're always on the Snapchat and all those tools, and they have the technology with them, and I teach a course with 8th graders, and it's in STEAM and emerging tech, and one of the things that we'll be working on is virtual reality. And so in my classroom, I have a bunch of different, I have Google Cardboard, I have some other tools that are there, and some of the students have seen them and they assembled them and they wanted to use them, and it's funny to see their reaction when they take it off, because they're doing like a roller coaster one. But some of them even got some of these tools over the holidays as gifts or for birthday gifts, and a few of them saw what I had in the classroom and asked their parents if they would order them some things, and they found some great deals on like Amazon or different websites. And so I think that there are so many options that are out there today. It just takes like finding something, and if there's a cost involved, talk to people first and find out and get some kind of an idea of like the benefits of it and what it offers for sure. Don't go spending like $10,000 or whatever it is for something, because sometimes the best tools, like there is no cost, they're free and readily available for anybody to use. Or maybe you can find a classroom to share with if you're connected, and people just put the word out in one of the learning communities and say, hey, does anybody have something I can try out, and then go from there.
One of the moderators that we were hoping to have today with CoSpaces was they're killing it right now. It's free for every student to create their own 360 worlds, And so to have that as an option to be able to offer our students beyond just the experience, which is fantastic, but now moving in towards, you know, creating and engaging in that activity. And actually it's kind of cool because I have some ideas on implementing co-spaces around me, so our created stuff into Nearpod. And so kind of, you know, doing some app smashing, because that's absolutely how we can share what our kids are creating, what they're doing, how to engage with their activities. So I'm really excited because I think this is going to be an opportunity for all of us to really just change the way that we are offering this opportunity of an experience. It has to start there. We all start with an experience. You know, we get the buy-in there. But, you know, what would you guys say is the next step to really, beyond just this experience, what do you see is necessary for our kids to really fully be immersed in these 360 experiences and also be creators of the content?
One of the things that I was noticing is at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas this year, January, earlier this month, it's just been the promotion of VR and AR and how you can bring that into just our normal world. And we know that when it gets into just the normal world, it penetrates the classroom. And I think that the exposure that it's getting is going to lend itself to going into the classroom where educators are going to start to pick up on it. Because I know the way I think, I see something that's going on in business or that's going on in gaming or anything else, and I'm always thinking, okay, what applications does this have in the classroom?
Yeah.
What I think is one interesting avenue that we're starting to see is I feel like the initial sparkle for VR for 360 is here, it's set, it's now adapting it to usage in ways that aren't readily apparent right off the bat. I was in a science classroom some months ago in Tennessee, and she was using the VR not to show, hey, look at this place and where we are, but they were actually on a hunt for an augmented or adaptive biotechnology. And then they would take a screenshot and write about it. So using that as not just a means to an end, but as a tool to go further into the topic, when people start doing that, then I think you'll really see the depth sort of blossom and open up.
Yeah. And I think that it, you know, kind of minimizing even the topic and how we use it is not, you know, the point of VR or the point of 360s or augmented reality is to give the opportunity to be fully engaged. So it's not saying that you have to use VR for everything, because I don't think that's true, or AR or 360s for everything, but it's an opportunity, like you said, to you know, maximize the use of a tool for the benefit of your kids. And I know Rochelle does a fantastic job. I mean, she can learn something one day and the next day it's in her student's hands. So what would you say has been like really impactful for your classroom as far as implementing some 360s or virtual reality and what you guys are looking for in the future?
Well, definitely Nearpod was like, and I wrote about this a couple of weeks ago about like top 12 things, or 12, not top 12, because I didn't rank them, but 12 things that made a difference in my classroom last year. And in Nearpod, I refer to as being like the game changer, because it really was something that sparked such a change in my students and their engagement, becoming leaders in the classroom. And it was so nice for me to swap out and become the student, let the students lead and be involved in the lesson and see, you know, what it had to offer. And I didn't know all there was to know about it. And I know sometimes teachers, educators, administrators are kind of afraid in a sense to like try something new, because it might seem like just the concept of VR might seem like, wow, that's so difficult. And sitting here with Jamie, I'm like, I need help. Like even with Snapchat and things, like I don't know everything there is to know. I will try. But I think the best advice is like, you know, in your own classroom or whatever your experience is, if you're just looking for some way to change one thing, or look at what content you're teaching now and think, is there anything that is talked about in this, say you're reading a book or you're teaching about a period in history, is there anything that you are working on that you might be able to find somewhere and immerse the students really fully in that experience? And it could come midway through your lesson, or that could be your hook into the lesson, like, hey, check this out. And the students walk in and you've got like one headset and you get turns, you have stations or something set up. And Nearpod is great for that, because, you know, there, like I said, there's so many available things that are on through the website that you can create for your classroom. And I think it just takes like that one step. You just got to go for it.
All right, this one's gonna be challenging for Dave. This is our last question, because I know Sarah's like looking down at her clock and giving us the look, and drinking Starbucks. But you know, what we're like, there we go. But you know, if I had to ask your top 2 or 3 tools that you think could be implemented tomorrow with your classroom, or something that you need to look into today so that you can start applying and using it, I'm going to give you guys a chance to think about that for a second. But top 2 to 3 tools that would be some good recommendations for classroom use and using 360s. We've already went over why it's important to use that, why it can be effective in your teaching, but you know, maybe even like, how, you know, what do I start off with? I mean, we heard about Nearpod for sure, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be Dave's top 3 answers right there. But you know, what beyond that can we say is you know, a tool that we can begin looking at or including that? So I'm going to start with Mason.
I would definitely say one of the biggest online resources for content is YouTube, and most of that content is free. And when teachers are getting their feet wet and they're just trying to see what is out there, that is definitely a go-to place. And a lot of times they forget about it.
Yeah.
They'll come to me and say, hey, I need this or I need that. And I'll go on YouTube and I'll board them what I find, because that's what it's all about. That's where a lot of resources can be found. And so sometimes we just kind of forget. So
I think all of us would say Nearpod here,
yeah,
of course.
Definitely.
But you know, looking at YouTube with 360s, I think that's really powerful. When that came out and was available on Apple finally, because of course they were all Android based. This is the one time you don't want to be an Apple user when you're talking about VR. But you know, with that, it's like, oh my gosh, dang it, this is available. I really want access. When it finally came out, it was like, oh, this world of opportunity, not just for us as viewers, but for creators. You know, people that are going out and creating these 360 experiences are just dabbling into the opportunity there. So really good call on YouTube, because I think that's you know, an obvious, but really just most people don't realize that's out there yet.
Okay. No, actually, and I was very lucky because very soon after I came into Nearpod, we had an experience with an Israeli team that's competing for the Google X Prize, which is basically the first organization that puts an unmanned rover onto the moon is going to win this thing. And so what they did was they took Nearpod and they partnered it with a communication tool. I think we used GoToMeeting.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think is really useful, because not only do you have the visual of Nearpod and the visual of these 360s and looking around, but the person who is showing you these things doesn't have to be on the same continent. So there were schools in Florida and schools in New York and schools in the UK that were being taught about the moon and what this rover was going to see by astronauts in Israel. So it was like, so they loaded up, you know, a couple of those moon 360s that I had told you about. It's like, when our rover gets onto the surface, this is what they're going to see. Let's take a look and let's talk about all of these things. And I think giving it that extra added dimension that a lot of teachers don't even know you could do with it is mind-blowing and reaches out to the students in a way I never thought possible when I was in the classroom.
It's crazy how much is coming about, the opportunities.
Well, so following it, like the
She has a million tools.
No, for this area, it's something that's fairly new to me. And I mean, the Nearpod for sure, YouTube is great. And that's something that I just came across. I had no idea up until 4 or 5 weeks ago. I just found that. I was like, oh, okay, so now I know that one. You know, CoSpaces to go into that. But even using like Buncee as a presentation tool, there are some things that you can add into that are animated and panoramic views and different things. And so that's even just something where with YouTube, you can pull videos in from YouTube, and that can be a part of it as well. So that's kind of like you get the Nearpod, do the app smashing thing too. You can put all of these different things in and really make a great experience for them.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, some of the tools that we've talked about today, I have put together a blog post of top 10 recommended. Of course, we have Nearpod on there, we have CoSpaces on there, we have Adorable, which we're looking at as having kind of a back channel for our EdChange Global event for our students coming up next month, having a place for kids to meet in this virtual world all over, with educationally focused and breakout areas. It's fantastic. So I think the opportunities our kids are going to have here in the future is enormous. And I'm super, super excited to hear all of these tools that are going to be implemented. And Sarah, thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to share these different resources and talk about our passions and enthusiasm.
Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. So definitely we're about to close it out. But before we do so, I wanted to ask Jamie to take this opportunity, since Jamie's on panel with us. Jamie, could you please tell us a little bit about EdChange Global Classrooms coming up?
Yeah, I'm pumped because we have, and Sarah is one of the organizers as well. We've got quite a few. And we have this amazing opportunity to offer a day for kids to connect and collaborate. I mean, that's really what we're doing. I mean, it sounds like we're doing a lot more, but what we do is just offer a day and excitement and enthusiasm for kids to come together from all over the world. Had a chance to go through our stats and look at our past 3 EdCamp Global events that we've had, both for classroom teachers and for students, and we've been able to reach out to 81 different countries. It is phenomenal. It is just incredible. So think about the opportunities our kids will have to be able to connect in these types of events. And all we're doing is saying, hey, this sounds like a good day. Let's go with it. And people are jumping in the masses because they need this for their kids. Totally free, going to be incredible, safe, awesome opportunity. We'll have 3 different sessions happening every hour. And every single one of the sessions will have up to 200 video chats happening live within our students and our classrooms. So we're thrilled. We have a blogathon happening next month. Every single day we're highlighting global education or anything connected to our past events that they've learned or grown and shared. We have Rochelle as one of our guest bloggers. We're going to be highlighting a blogger every single day with the help of Evan from Beluga. And so we're just going to have just incredible opportunities. Hopefully we can get Nearpod on as a sponsor.
Not a decision I get to make.
Yes, awesome. Yes, we have people saying for TCA looking at going to Nearpod. Awesome. So yeah, I'm excited about that event. And Sarah, thank you so much for the opportunity to share.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Could you tell us the link where people can go to sign up?
Yeah, that would be helpful. So it's tiny.cc/EdChange Global. And that's it. So it's all lowercase, EdChange Global. No spaces or anything there. And so you can go to the website. You can find every page has a register now link there, and it gives you more information on how to get involved. It's going to be the simplest event we have ever had because it's all in one place. So the convenience of having notes already set up, videos already set up, all you're doing is just showing up, even for our facilitators. So that's going to be fantastic.
Awesome. Cannot wait. That is going to be such a great day of learning. So I definitely wanted to thank you, Jamie, for moderating, and wanted to also thank Dave, Mason, Rochelle, and Dan for participating, as well as everyone who participated with us on Twitter. This was great. My mind is like whoosh right now. So definitely learning about this 360. So this is awesome. So thank you to everyone. Just a reminder that our EduMatch book is available on our website, edumatch.org. So check it out. Rochelle has a chapter in there. Woo woo, Rochelle. So that's chapter 3, right?
It is, thank you.
That's so awesome.
Chapter 3. So check that out. Absolutely. So it's on our website. It's also on Amazon if you search it up, paperback and Kindle version. So the chat will be transcribed and available within the next probably 5 minutes or so. And this podcast will be available online as well, and on iTunes in a few weeks. So come back next week. We're going to be at our regular scheduled time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to be talking about Instagram and education. So anyone can be a panelist. You can just sign up at tinyurl.com/EduMatch sign up. And definitely looking forward to seeing y'all there. So if you want to subscribe to the podcast, just go to bit.ly/EduMatch podcast in all lowercase letters. So everyone have a fantastic week, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sarah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.